Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Startup Voyage podcast. And today we're going to be talking to a CEO that has developed a very groundbreaking marketing tool that is driven by AI to change the way in which marketing and ad agencies operate today. It is going to make a lot of jobs easier for marketing. So, who is this guy? His name is Billy T, and he's one of the co-founders of Reelsights. And for him, he's an accomplished entrepreneur uh, and is known for pioneering his work in the field of artificial intelligence. And that's why I brought him on board. Now, the question I have, me also as a sales and marketer, I would like to know, is it possible to have a marketing tool replace a whole staff and enable businesses to be their own marketers with this platform?
And welcome to another exciting episode of the Startup Voyage. And today's episode, AI in one video marketing tool. We explore the frontiers and technology and the minds behind the groundbreaking inventions of Reelsights. I'm your host, Arthur Lee, and today we have a very special guest, Billy T, co-founder of Reelsights, and his brilliant mind behind the development of what we're going to talk about today, a product that is going to really disrupt the world of marketing in general. So welcome to the show, Billy. Thank you for joining us
Thank
today.
you. Thank you, Arthur.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
pleasure to be here, mate. It's beautiful.
Great. So, yeah, I think it'd be good for our audience to just get a little bit of background about how you got into this space as an entrepreneur. I mean, you've been in marketing for some time. I think one of the reasons why I wanted to have you join the show, mainly it's because you've brought a very interesting product to the market based on your personal experience and also the work that you guys put into, I guess, for the product market fit. And I guess all the research and development that went in the background. Maybe you can explain a little bit more about how what you used to do before, right? I mean, what was your path into becoming a marketer, and how that's kind of brought you to, start Reelsights.
Yeah, sure, Arthur. So I have a very unique experience. Essentially, I started my career in the public sector as a security and defense consultant, where I worked in counterterrorism, piracy, and trafficking. Essentially, what it taught me is that it's about people and having empathy, understanding where they're coming from. And so I spent the first 5 years of my career essentially working in strategy, trying to solve the world's problem. And working with different parties, working with not just governments, NGOs, and private companies. And when we try to solve those security issues, you have to approach it from three different aspects. So how do we solve the problem now? How do we solve the problem in the near future? And how do we set up a base to prevent future security issues? And that really taught me about why people behave the way they do. So there's a lot of psychology and sociology. After 5 years, I went to the private sector, where essentially business is very similar, where it's all about people. So that's where we came up with the understanding that if we can understand people, then we can understand business.
Okay.
Just yeah.
Well, I think
In
that's the
terms of
whole.
marketing,
Yeah, that's the whole idea of marketing, right? We're supposed to understand people, how they like to be communicated to, right?
So the core essence of marketing is really understanding what's the pain point of the user, the end user. So what we see is that, especially in the post-COVID world, we see people that had less manpower, less budget. And so how do we help to solve that issue? But knowing that currently in our digital world, 83% of the internet is set to be just videos by next year. That's the estimate. So we are going all full digital. And how can companies catch up to that? How can they provide good quality to be able to target their end users? And that's where we came in. So we aim to address the challenges of creating engaging video effective content. It solved the problem of time-consuming, costly video production, which proves with the process by leveraging AI technology to streamline and automate video creation.
Okay. Well, do you think it's a behavioral trend that's happening when it comes to video? Because if we look back of where we've navigated from, where people used to go from books, and as the internet speed came on, people were reading a lot of forums, a lot of threads, blogs came about, and obviously that became very popular. There's still a generation of people who still enjoy consuming information by text, by reading text. And now we got into the stage where, everyone and their grandmothers are going on YouTube, searching for information, and not in any long form for that, for that matter. The discovery, a lot of it is happening through these shorts and reels, and it's become, such a behavior change because so much consumption that we go through every single day. We really have to pick and choose what we spend our time on. So how do you vision like the product that you're bringing to market kind of approaching like the
Yeah, definitely. It seems that our society today is overwhelmed by the amount of information, and so the hard part is to filter that information. What are we truly interested, and what can we essentially get to find directly the type of content that we're interested in. And so it's challenging today with the amount of information that we see, not just on our phone or computers. Back in the days, it's also the speed, how much is being produced. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think for myself, there's just way too much information. I cannot keep up. That's the honest truth. I may find someone, like for example, someone on LinkedIn asked me to follow their newsletter. I read it and I think it's good information. But it doesn't become a discipline to me because maybe I'll follow it 1 month and the next month I won't. There's probably some newsletters that I completely have forgotten about. There's just too many choices. So for videos, I do discover a lot, mainly from people that I may want to discover a little bit more about, or I'll follow them. But yeah, it's been a lot actually to even just to catch up personally on the personal side of I guess topics or and business as well.
Oh,
Well, thanks for sharing about
uh,
how the problem that you're trying to solve. Um, Maybe you can share with me how you've been kind of managing all the noise that's happening out there when it comes to AI. And it feels to me that there's a lot of competition, just trying to get market attraction to their product. What have you been seeing, and has it been a challenge for you, and how have you been overcoming it?
that's a fantastic question, Arthur. I think in the last 6 months, it's been about like 1,000 new AI companies coming out. And we see this trend since ChatGPT came out last December, that all these new ideas coming out. And I think it's great for the whole community to be able to get inspiration, see what works, what doesn't work. It's about feedback. For us, when we look at competition, obviously, I know what you're thinking. ChatGPT is the latest and greatest thing in marketing. So what should switch to your platform? Well, let me tell you that ChatGPT is a great tool, but it's not perfect. For one thing, you can't ask it direct questions. You have to speak its language. and in order to get the best result. And even then, it's not always accurate. And that's where we come in. We're experts in AI technology, and we've added our own proprietary technology and expertise to create the ultimate video marketing platform. With our platform, you can ask direct questions, and you can get current data. You can also get more detailed and nuanced results that you can with ChatGPT. So we've been working on this platform for about 11 months now, and we're confident it's the best video marketing platform in the market. Additionally, the angle is really, we look at empathy. So we're aim to understand the end user. So I've spoken personally to over 150 people and really tried to dig down in a post-COVID world. What was their main pain points? And so from that angle of empathy, and we brought technology and psychology and sociology all together in order to create the best video marketing platform.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. Well, let me ask. My experience with the Chat GPT, correct? When I asked it for specific things, or to look up certain information, the way I see it is that it's just backed by their own database. And I believe anyone else that's out there creating their own platform either hooks into some source information to help serve, I guess, power up their AI engine. It kind of made me feel like after a while, if everyone's using Chat GPT, it's all going to be the same. I mean, for me, there is creativity because I'm a content creator. I will spin it the way I still want to spin it. It maybe gives me triggers some thoughts, triggers some new words, perhaps, but it really does excite me using Chat GPT. And I've met, similar to yourself, I interview a lot of founders, and they're thinking, "Hey, this is all I need," and I'm like, I'm like, you can only go so far. Yeah, I think there's definitely limitations. What do you foresee? What are the main features of their video marketing platform that kind of overcome or help creators still be creative?
Of course. So all of history, we've gotten inspiration by having new information. Right? And so what it does is essentially allows you to do research analytics, where you can get information real life data information about what's the latest trend. And so that helps you to get immediate new ideas, which leads to you to be creative. And at the same time, having the data of engagement metrics, for example, then you can see what type of content is highly performing, what are people interested in. So understanding more about the end user, the customer, really helps to shape your content creation. And so we've taken that data analytics background with essentially generative content, so both written, video script, and video creation, so that you can essentially produce a lot faster. So one of the core ideas that RealSight was based off is the idea of fast advertising, which is essentially advertising at the speed of culture. And so in order for you to stay up to date with all the events going on in the world, once you see a very high attention seeking event, if you produce very quickly your content, you will bring essentially more visibility into your own brand.
Okay. Well, I think that's a okay. If you walk me through the process, then as today when I'm creating YouTube videos or when I decide how to create some structure around a podcast episode, I would go into TubeBuddy, right, and I'll search some keywords.
Yeah.
I'll go through many different keywords, look at the content and seeing how people are positioning it, what's relevant. It could probably take me a good 20 to 30 minutes because I'm wanting to make sure that I'm targeting good content. And sometimes it feels like a guess on my side, right? And so you're saying that on your platform, you'll get a lot deeper and enriched analytics information to help me then make a decision on what I create from a content production point of view. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So like the example of the keyword search. What we've done, so we have an AI where just from inputting the URL, it will tell you who's the target audience, who's the customer persona of that URL. And so right there will tell you the age, what they're likely to do. So for example, if it's Nike, it's going to tell you that they're sport enthusiasts, but that they're also likely to be interested in brand recognition. And so that's one level. Because you're a content creator for YouTube, we also have a whole set of YouTube arsenal for not just analysis, but also for creation. So we have one where the first thing is really do the assessment. So first look at who's looking at your channel, what's their age, which countries they're from. Then you can go deeper into who's your competitor and understand their target audience. And we also have a set of tools that helps you to essentially reach into your competitor's audience. And in terms of content ideas and generation, we also have a set of tools that allows you to see what's trending today in your country, as well as allowing to go into depth into what do people think about your content. So, for example, having an understanding of what kind of demographic, what kind of age group, and what kind of feedback do your videos, but also your industry players' videos think about your content. And then based on that, we have something called vidnovation, which essentially from a video, the AI is going to analyze that video, take out what is the core idea of that video, and help you regenerate a draft script from that successful, highly engagement video. So then it's giving you the first draft of a topic that's already currently popular. And all you have to do is personalize it and shoot it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, in what you just walked through, I can only imagine that, I could still create something pretty fast, but I still have my flavor of creativity that I could add on my own. In a sense that I guess these days, I hate to say it, but on YouTube, a lot of the thumbnails, it is sort of like, you got to attract people to click on it, whether it's the photograph or the verbiage. And interesting enough, I was reading about Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, obviously the very popular YouTuber. He makes about 58 million a year. He had mentioned that about 10% of YouTube is in English, and he saw an opportunity to continue to maximize his brand in different countries. So he's starting to hit the Latin America countries, and he gets those optimized, and it's not just a straight translation, but it's all the the thumbnails, or looking at also what is trending, I guess, in different countries. And he's amassed like so much more traffic and monetizing ad revenue like crazy. So I can imagine, like, so your tools then support many different languages, or how does that work when you're supporting different content creators around the world?
That's very correct. Essentially, language is a paramount when you're trying to expand and grow your audience. And so our tools does recognize different languages, over 50 right now. So any kind of say what if the comments, or if the content has English subtitle, or because you can always translate it. And so we're able to understand what is the core idea of that video, what's the response of that video, therefore helping you adapt your content. In the case of Mr. Fizz, I think what's interesting is that a year before starting publishing videos, he studied YouTube videos for a whole year. analyzing the structure, what worked, what didn't work. And essentially the our AI helps you to do that, but not in a year, but in 30
Yeah.
seconds.
Well, I think
So
that's the world, going so fast.
definitely we see, like, I think that's actually an interesting discussion. It's like, are we growing too fast? Because the what we found that, like, a lot of people have this understanding of what AI think, and sometimes people think it's like Terminator, right, or Jarvis, and that's gonna happen, right? But at the same time, like, majority of people, like, I read this recent statistic where only 15% of the US actually has experienced AI, meaning dealt with ChatGPT, being AI, or BART. So only 15%. And that's because it seems that we get a gap between how fast technology is evolving and how consumer are actually using it.
Right.
I thought
Well,
that was an interesting fact.
yeah, it definitely is. It's I guess in the world of like digital currencies, you can say that only a very small fraction of the world has ever experienced, either buying or trading something in that space. And AI is no different. Or you can then argue actually AI has been around for some time. People just don't realize it. And for it to go mainstream, people may not even realize it as well, right? Because it gets implemented into their everyday lives. Um, like, for a very simple example, go to websites, they have these chat boxes now that, very clunky. But if that then gets taken over by AI, people will just get used to it and maybe not really have to understand what AI is. I think that's the beauty, I guess, with technology. We in the background, the builders, we can see how fast things grow, right? But from the mainstream perspective, people have other concerns in their lives, such as, just that, making money, what are they going to do with the career, picking up the kids. But I think the only avenue that's maybe quite different is, which jobs are these going to take over, right? Um, I guess the one narrative is that a lot of these lower level jobs will be kind of like reduced because of AI. So it'll make the market kind of tighten up a little bit. Where are these people going to go? What jobs will be available? But I guess the larger narrative is that shouldn't we as humans be spending our time on other things rather than things that AI can manage, right? I mean, I forget what I was watching. They were saying, imagine if the next generation, they all became engineers, doctors, right? Like they were just all become just scientists, right? Imagine the amount of
Mm.
problems in this world that we can solve in 5 years. We could probably solve everything, right? Like if that was everyone, forget about all these low level tasks. Everyone puts their mind into just feeding into the space of sciences, the world will be a completely different place, and it'll be even faster than technology, how the pace of technology changes. Okay.
And in the
Yeah.
world of
Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was done.
In a world where it's uh, um, in a world where you only have engineers, it would be a very rational society. That there would be lack of, creativity, emotions. So it's like, what makes life beautiful is that we have emotion, but it's also because we have emotion that it can be chaotic, and it's finding a balance which can be challenging, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true. Okay. Well, let me tell you. So about your video marketing platform, you just mentioned that they will support many different languages. Are you going to launch it on a to everyone in the world, or are you going to target specific markets and then kind of branch out from there?
Yeah, we focus first in the Asia Pacific region. So just in terms of market size, in the Asia Pacific last year spent over 53 billion in digital video marketing. So we see that as a priority where it's really the growing market. And there's always the strategy of blue ocean versus red ocean. And in APAC, we see that as people are very much technology savvy and spend a lot of time on their devices. So we see countries like Hong Kong, Singapore, South Korea, to be one of the key priorities for us. We have on our next stage to go into Europe and the Middle East. And that's where essentially we're planning on growing, expanding the next frontier after the Asia Pacific region.
Okay. So who are your typical end users that will use your product?
So the end user are usually, so we see everything from budding entrepreneurs to SMEs, chief marketing officers who help to build them their strategies, account directors who are essentially in charge of implementing that marketing strategy on a daily basis, as well as some content creators, to help them speed up the process of getting the idea, generating the content, and publishing it. The marketing, one of the key metrics which helps you to increase visibility is being consistent. But being consistent means it's a very time-consuming process. I mean, I was reading the statistics by Oberlo, which essentially state that for content creators, in order for all of the different social media algorithm to identify you, it's about 11 posts per day across all the platform. 11. And who's got time for that, essentially? For SMEs, we see that because of COVID, they had to lower their marketing budget and they have less manpower. So what a tool does for them is essentially help them to generate high quality content that's based on the data of who is their target audience. You have some companies that are in very multiple industry verticals. And there's the report that was done by HubSpot, which essentially identified that today as well, you have to create two different type of strategies for your marketing. So you need the big brand strategy about what you do, but then you need to tailor it down to each industry verticals that you're in. When you speak directly to your target audience, you will increase your visibility and your conversion rate a lot faster. So speaking directly to their needs allows you to increase your conversion rate.
Okay. How about partnerships? Because creating the video is one thing, but making it a lot easier to distribute it to the right channels, like you just mentioned, you can create all these posts every single day and hit multiple channels. Do you have any partnerships that make distribution of that video content a lot easier?
In terms of, so what we observe, since TikTok came out, we see a lot of companies trying to compete with it. And one of the leaders in that has been YouTube. What YouTube did was as TikTok is incredibly popular among the young generation, they then try to, how can we stand out? How can we compete? So what they did was essentially increase the ad revenue to creators. So you see YouTube Short is providing about 55% of ad revenue to content creators. Now, if you put that into perspective, you see that TikTok is about 50%. Facebook and Instagram are 20%. Now, that kind of economics impacts behavior. So what we see now is that if you're famous on YouTube, you're famous everywhere. And so one is that we see people creating on their content on YouTube and then reformatting and republishing it all across those different social media platforms. And so that's why it was important for us to understand, to have this whole set of arsenal of YouTube analytics creation as well, so that it allows to access to over 2 billion people of end users.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so how about advertising channels? Like where you want to test against not just you know, I guess if you look at creating your own ad, let's just say that. So how does it help in that respect?
So creating your own ads, so we have two tools which can give you a straight up answer. One is where, based on your web links, so your website, your Facebook, your YouTube, or whatsoever, the AI is going to analyze and create content for you, for your target audience. So let's say that you have a promotion. So for example, we are going on a collision in Toronto, which is a tech conference next week. So all you got to do is say, I'm this company going for this event. Those are my web links. Create content for 1 or 2 days, both written post and video script. And the AI straight up gives you an answer. It gives you a set of posts, and it goes for various channels. So if you are on LinkedIn, Twitter, and then for videos, if you're on TikTok or YouTube, then it's going to create specific script and written content. And all you got to do is personalize that content and repost it. Archer?
Yeah, I still got you.
Hey,
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. So is it data on your side? Because I'm showing that it's coming in at 480p.
Yeah. So the internet cable are still underwater, and one of them got attacked by a shark, and it's been 6 months.
Oh,
And
really?
it's legit. Sounds like a movie plot, but yeah. So it's definitely on this side. Yeah,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
impacts the bandwidth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you still based out of Vietnam? Are you based out of Vietnam or somewhere else? Or
So we're a Hong Kong company, so I spend a lot of time in Hong Kong, but also in
right?
Vietnam.
Yeah.
We have another co-founder who's in France.
Right.
So, and we go to all those events around the world. So,
Yeah.
for example, next week we're going to Canada.
Yeah.
Then we're going to Portugal later on this year.
Yeah.
And when just came back from Saudi Arabia.
So I guess what's the future of Reelsights? What for expansion wise, or anything new features, anything notable? I mean, so you'll be at this conference in Canada. Yeah, what's next for Reelsights? Um, what's on the roadmap?
Well, it's the roadmap for RealSight. Essentially, we have an early launch where we've been testing the software heavily, and now we're super excited in order to give access to all those new tools that we've created. So not just in terms of the analysis, the content creation, but also video creation. We have a whole set of arsenal of video creation. So we have video slides, we have talking heads, where essentially it's like you and I are talking.
Yeah.
So we have templates of people that you can use to improve your marketing. And we also have this feature of what we call talking portrait. So it's just like basically a face, and the mouth will be animated, so that it's synced to the words. So you have voiceover and voice cloning technology. So, for example, you as a creator, if you want to create a video where you don't want to put your face, and you're a bit tired that day, then you can just clone your voice,
Yeah.
and essentially type the words of your content,
Yep.
stick an image, and then you're pretty much done. Yeah. In terms of tech development, we're continuously improving week by week. So, and in terms of the technology, for us, we knew that we could not compete all those multi-million-dollar AI video companies or the big studios. So our strategy was really first focused on the analytics. And that was really like a game changer for us, because then our set of tools to understand your end user, your customer, how old are they, what do they like, what kind of content do they prefer, and when, in real time. I can confidently say that we're the only one in the market doing that right now. And with that, we brought in together video content creation tools, where essentially like allows you for you to be able to go across platform, not just YouTube, not just TikTok, but really to be able to spread your content and for all of the algorithm, the indexing algorithm to find you. So it's about search engine optimization of videos. It's about creating the content, but also making sure that people actually see it. So
Yes.
the right content for the right audience.
Right. Well, that's actually a big problem to solve, and I'm really looking forward to testing out your tool because I go through it every single day. Okay. Well, is there anything you want to share to the audience about how to get on board? How to I don't know if you have any trial, to test out your platform or anything notable.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a set trial of 14 days. Essentially, we have over 33 tools. And each tool, essentially, whether you're looking for YouTube analytics with content creation or video creation, everything's up there. There are instructions to help you manage to navigate a bit. We wanted to make it as easy as possible. So that's why if you're doing, for example, a customer persona research, all you got to do, it's literally just cut and paste URLs. For the voiceover, all you got to do is type the script and just press generate. And we have this AI called Reelsight. She will essentially read through all your text. So we have 14-day free trial. It's on Reelsights.com.
Perfect. All right, Billy. Well, I think we'll just wrap up the show here today, and I definitely want to catch up with you maybe in a 6 months down the line. Would love to see where you're at and what's new. So thank you for joining our show.
Thank you, Art.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, so that concludes this episode of the Startup Voyage podcast. I would like to thank all of you for listening to this episode, and I'd really appreciate it if you leave any type of comments that you'd like to share, because it helps to feedback on how I deliver these podcasts, and I definitely want to improve it to continue to add more value to the audience. Now, you can follow us on many of the popular podcast channels: Spotify, Amazon, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. Equally, I'm going to be uploading all these episodes onto YouTube, so it's more than just audio, it's video. You can see everyone's faces. Look, I really hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I'm always open to new ideas or looking for new guests. So if you know anyone in the space of Web3 that is an influencer or leader or someone who's really trying to shape what Web3 will be in the future, I'd love to hear from them. All right. So yeah, just comment below. You can DM me. I have all my information in the details underneath this podcast episode. So yeah, thank you for joining me today, and have a great one. See you in the next episode.